Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Truth Will Set You Free, episode number 25. We're being hosted, of course, by me, Anthony Michael Russo. Curtis is in the house as well. Cash is somewhere. We may see him soon enough. We are not sure. He actually has some pretty big news from tonight, so I hope he will hop on and let everybody know what's going on. And our special guest, I named some people, and they might be here. They might not, but we'll introduce them when they come on. You've seen them either on our shows or on Cash's show, but we are excited. We do have people from both ends of the spectrum, Curtis included. He literally toes the line. I still, as a good friend, have no idea which way he voted or is voting, so that should be fun. We're going to be talking about Hunter Biden, whether or not that's a worthy October surprise, something to actually talk about, or why it's not being talked about. We're going to talk about civility and decency, good and bad. Does it really matter which way you're voting, which way is good, which way is bad as human beings? And I have a specific thing to talk about on this one. And if we get to it, we're going to talk a little bit about what's going on in Philadelphia. So if you guys can share this out there, this is our political debate show. Truth Will Set You Free, Tuesday, but on Thursday. And we are ready to get started. So I'm going to go ahead and play these 78 minutes of theme songs that I have created for Truth Will Set You Free.
Let's go.
Oh, hey there.
We started?
Oh, we're doing it live. We're going live.
Do I have pants on?
We can't tell because you never have good lighting. That's why.
I'm not that guy. I'm not that guy doing anything under the camera.
What's that guy's name? Duber?
I don't know.
Duber? Pulling the whatever it's called.
Yeah.
That was a pretty big mistake on his end. Moving on. Curtis, what's going on in your world?
I am just hanging in there, man. Working out, being healthy, working on things, trying to find ways to make money because the business is a little slow.
A little bit.
Hey, we're optimistic, and just hanging in there. Thanks to everybody who's been tuning in to this. This has helped me and you actually, work on different things, and yeah, I'm excited for this. I've been on a week, right? Yeah.
I don't think you were on last year. You were on for the ladies a little bit last week.
I was on for a little bit, but I had to get off.
Whoa.
Don't tell Lauren.
Funny story. So I'm at the RV park. As a lot of you guys know, I bought an RV. Not the RV park place I bought it from. Turns out the couple that I met across from me that have just decided to uproot their life and become full-time RVers actually are friends with Lauren Saloon. And had no idea because I was telling them, I'm like, you guys need to connect or whatever. And then they're like, oh, no, we're really close friends. We have very similar mentors and all that stuff. Crazy
wow.
stuff. Yeah. I don't. Yo-Yo said something about her dreaming back, and I'm not sure what she's talking about, but I feel like she might have had a couple glasses of wine already, which means it's time to start introducing our guests. So first up, I'm going to go ahead and bring on the lovely Soonie. She's fantastic. She's going to be bringing the heat. Soonie, introduce yourself to Truth Will Set You Free crowd.
What's up, guys? I'm Soonie. I'm so happy to be here. This should be fun. You don't get to talk to liberals, so this is like I'm kind of nervous right now. What's going to happen?
This is like 7 months ago when nobody was like this.
Yeah.
We were like, yo, you want to get bread? Oh, yeah. I'm gluten free. That's all right. We dairy free. Let's just go to. Yeah. I think it's the battle. We were battling over diets. Now we're battling over politics. And afterwards, it's probably going to be battling over who got the best or who didn't get the best vaccine. I don't know.
Curtis, you have a new hairdo? No, that's called being broke and can't afford to get a haircut.
I did get a new haircut. That's what happens when you have friends that are barbers. They will hook you up because you start to look rough.
Oh, I thought you haven't had one. I thought you were looking rough. Now, anyways, moving on. And right. Judy, thanks for waking up. I know it's super early in Japan right now, so thank you so much for waking up. All right, let's go with. I'm gonna leave the sassiest for last, which means it's time to bring on Mr. Just Face It, Corey.
Dang, Corey, I thought you were sassy, bro.
Hey, you made me nervous when you said I'm gonna leave the sassiest for last. I was like, no, don't do it.
I was hoping you were gonna do it.
Don't do it. And by the way, I want to say something. Soonie's my girl, right? But I gotta call her out. She lied to y'all about this nervous stuff. She's not nervous. Soonie is not nervous. She ready to roll. Trust me.
It's called, what is it, playing coy, playing possum?
Yeah.
I don't know how to have this conversation.
Yeah,
So
Soonie.
I have a very good microphone and headphones.
I think I'm nervous. Don't believe it.
Are you a gamer? Because if you ain't a gamer, you're definitely a
I'm a
podcast.
gamer.
All right, what's the rig? What you playing on?
I got the one, the Xbox One. I'm trying to get the new one that's coming out. I play a lot of 2K. I play a lot of Plunder. I play a lot of Madden, PUBG.
Okay, okay, all right. Nice. I mean, I just got into the gaming on the computer scene like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And I'm shouting out Razer because they hooked the boy up. This laptop they gave me, I have been gaming like crazy. So
nice.
Is Razer paying to be on the show at all? Because if not, we're moving on. All right. Speaking of gamers, Yo-Yo's going to be up next. Her husband actually is a gamer, which I foresee the marriage being a little shorter because of that. Just kidding.
No, it's probably gonna be long.
It'll be longer. Gamers stick together.
Exactly.
He's not a gamer. I don't think.
He's gonna give her. He's gonna give her time. Her me time.
Ladies and gentlemen, Yo-Yo. What's going on?
Hey.
Hey.
Yo.
So I gotta make sure we all know, if you haven't seen Yo-Yo on any of our shows before, Yosra has an old friend of mine that in this day and age, I find this miraculous that from two different ends of the spectrum, her and I got into a tiff on Facebook because, we're way bigger behind our screens when we decide to comment on each other's posts. And if some of you already know, she took the challenge when I said, how about let's have a debate live like now? And she's like, yeah, just give me 15 minutes. I was like,
oh, I'm nervous.
And she took a lot of flack from you guys in the comments. So she's a gangster. She's awesome. She's cool with us. And no, I'm not in my RV right now. Cash should be on tonight. He's finishing up with the radio station to answer some of the questions in the side. Gaming talk into politics. That is correct. Yeah, Yo-Yo, do you actually game yourself?
I don't, no. But to be fair, I haven't actually tried it, and I'm open to it. So we'll see.
See, that's a great answer right there. She hasn't tried it, but she's open to it. That's what I'm talking about.
But he does respect our time. When I say I want movie night, we have movie night.
And by movie night, that means it's a 2-hour movie, but they only watch an hour and 12 minutes. Got it. And then they start back up again in an hour and 16 minutes. All right. So here's what we got, guys. We're going to get started. But what I got to do with you guys real quick is obviously tell you what we've got going on. Cash, I hope he comes on so he can give an update on everything going on in the world because he had a bunch of cool phone calls today. If you haven't seen yet, Breitbart also put him up, did a whole article on Cash, which is huge. And he might have gotten a call from a major network. And that's all I'm going to say to that. All right. With that said, if you ever want to watch our podcast after the fact or listen to our podcast, #BetheChange.com/podcast. Please share that out there as well. The more people that are at least subscribers to our podcast, the better it looks. As this week, I am entering the beginning of a business accelerator where we are trying to get full funding for Be The Change, $1.5 million to get the party started. And obviously, financials look important for people to at least be following, and we've grown a lot anyways, but that would be helpful. YouTube following, also important. So if you don't already follow us, it's very easy to find Be The Change USA. So youtube.com/C/BeTheChange USA. And last but not least, second to last, if you guys are interested in any of our clothes, just go to #BeTheChange.com and click on the shop at the top of the page. We do have some new stuff. We've got winter clothes on there. Well, sweatshirts and hoodies, Unite, Don't Fight, all that good stuff. And last but not least, I'm going to leave this on the bottom. Everybody that wants to support via Patreon, and if everything is helpful, $5 a month helps. And I'm going to be doing trivia starting next week because I did find a whole bunch of stuff from before we had our new vendor that I am going to be giving away for trivia for any of our Patreons that jump onto the trivia. We'll be having fun games with that. So make sure you are a Patreon subscriber. That's going to be going through the bottom of the screen the whole time. Patreon.com/BetheChange USA. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get the party started. Woo. Okay, the way this is going to work is we're going to have different topics. If you haven't seen the show before, I'm going to move it around the room and allow people to respond. I do ask everybody to be kind. We're not going to always agree with everything each other has to say, including whether it be something from Soonie or Corey or Yo-Yo or Curtis or myself. Just if you want to start having a discussion on the side, that's completely fine. But I ask you with the Be the Change motto and mentality to lead with kindness, lead with love. And we can disagree. We just, don't have to be mean about it. So, all right, ladies and gents, let's get it started talking first about Hunter Biden and whether or not this should be playing a role in the election that's on Tuesday. A lot of people have already voted, why it's not getting shown. I want to go with Corey. Corey, can you start on this topic? What's your feelings on this delicate subject, apparently, that is out there right now with Hunter?
I think it's terrible that is not getting the attention, the immediate attention that it should, because if the shoe was on the other foot, Trump would have been deemed the devil by now. Okay. And the reason why I think it's important is because obviously his daddy has some connections to what he's doing and what he's been doing. That's the obvious. So I'm not understanding how he's not, in the media the way Trump should be. And it's a very negative thing. And it's important that we cover these things because we are asking a guy to, people are voting for a guy to run the country that has strong connections, in my opinion, to however you said, pedophilia, whatever it is, pedophile. Okay. Yeah, all that. I'm not the word man. Soonie help me out when I need help. But it's terrible. And like I said in the studio, I think it's evil. You know what I'm saying? And it's a very evil thing. And I think that's dangerous to allow somebody like that to run this country. And what concerns me most about it is because I have kids, and I don't want my kids growing up in a country that's ran like that. And I think it'd be heading us in the wrong direction.
Curtis, I'm going to go to you next. What's your feelings on all the Hunter Biden news?
Uh-oh, he's muted.
You're muted.
I just do it because I don't want any extra noise because it's a podcast and Anthony tells me before and after the show.
We do have a little bit of an echo when I got you. So thank you for doing that. Go ahead.
So a couple things. So at first I was, and Anthony tell you, I'm like looking at it. I don't react really quick anymore to anything. Now I sit back and wait. I'm like, okay, let me try to poke as many holes as I can. But as I was doing that, I was talking to a friend who's an avid Trump supporter. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. It's good or bad if you're Trump or Biden, whatever. But I asked him about it because, just wanted to talk to see, Anthony really like to debate. I asked him, I said, well, what do you think about the whole Hunter Biden? And this dude's a straight Trump. He's already voted Trump. He's like, bro, I don't care. It's a distraction. He's like, we need to be really looking at what is going on in the country. And I go, well, what do you mean? He's like, we keep talking about economics. He's like, I'm looking at business. I'm looking at, the different things that are going on. He was happy that the SCOTUS was the SCOTUS was passed through. He was really, it was really different because I wanted to see what he said. He was just like, no, he's like, that's cool. He's like, but he's like, that's not going to really be anything that we can do right now. He's like, and that's not directly to the person that he's running against. And so for me, it was different because I've never heard a Trump supporter ever come out and say that, because everybody's usually only focusing on this. And he was like, Kurt, there's a lot of other issues that we're missing out, trying to focus on this, trying to fight to look at this. And he's like, this is something that has happened that we have. He's like, they already have, the evidence. He's like, so it's going to be due process if they do it. He said, well, we need to focus on the what's going on now. And so for me, that was something that was very eye-opening, because I'm not gonna lie, I did get kind of caught up in it after a while. And you see the things that are coming on, and I have friends on both sides, which is great, and some that are on the left side are like, dude, it's kind of crazy that it showed up like this. And then some on the right side are like, dude, this is kind of crazy it showed up like this. So it's just kind of, for me, I'm always kind of in the middle, and Anthony can tell you, but to me, it's like it was important at one point, but now I'm kind of past it because I'm looking at what's still happening in America and where we need to, where we need to start focusing back on to make sure people are focused. What happened? Who just left?
Yo-Yo, I don't know where Yo-Yo went. She's coming back.
Okay, she got mad, apparently. That's right.
Yeah, I got you, Curtis. So yeah, I think it's interesting that was a Trump voter that was talking about the importance on looking at the issues and most likely saying, but look at the positives that we have going on with Trump. And I can see that, and I do think it's a huge distraction, especially in October. But I think it's a very important case to discuss. Yo-Yo, as a person on the left, when you see all the stuff coming out with Hunter Biden, and I don't even know if you've seen that much on it because it's not really presented on mainstream news except for anything as a hoax or as a Russian hoax, which there's still nothing having to do with Russia about it. What is your opinions, or how much have you even heard from that side of the media, or what you know?
I've heard a minimum amount about it. I'm still trying to figure out, has anything been proven, or what's the latest news on it? So he helped his son get through things. His son has certain connections with countries. What am I missing?
So the gist of it, first off, somehow he managed to leave a laptop someplace that had all of his personal information. It has been confirmed that it is his laptop. Okay. On that laptop, there is pornographic movies. There is him doing crack. There's videos of him doing crack. There's photos of him doing crack. There's text messages. This part has been released that it is factual. There is risque, but they don't know if that's the hardcore stuff with his 14-year-old niece, which is his dead brother's child. And then the evidence is text messages. There's nothing saying I need this to be paid to my dad, Joe Biden, but there is words like the big guy, there's sorting of different stuff. And now there's also the whistleblower, which was Hunter's ex-business partner, confirming that all of it is true. And again, it's not out on any place except for Breitbart, Fox News, and The Blaze, and some other of the conservative media, because it's just being squashed as not important. So that's what's out there right now that is considered truth. Everything else, in terms of if it was underage women, if there was any of this torture, that is still alleged, and it's just been spoken about by Trump's camp. So a lot has been verified to this point.
So a lot has been verified, but even more has not been verified yet, or they're
from what I understand, correct.
All that is actually verified?
No, not all of it's verified.
Okay.
The stuff that I mentioned, the video, I've unfortunately, as Soonie and I were talking, I've seen the video, I've seen the photos. I didn't see all the video, to be very clear.
You sure you didn't watch all of it?
Once you say allegedly 14 years old, I'm like, no. But yeah. I can tell you where the screenshots and the blur and all that's happening. And apparently, according to Nicole, Department of Justice just announced that FBI is doing an official investigation right now. Soonie, you're always good on information. Do you know of what's been confirmed? I know what I just said because I've seen the photos. Those have been confirmed. It's confirmed that it's his laptop. And then the emails have been cross-referenced by multiple people in the email that was involved. Now, the only thing that I know is not confirmed is that they are referencing Joe. But I have another point to bring up on that. But go ahead, Soonie. What's your thoughts, and what exactly do you know on the factual basis on it?
Well, I think it's important. I think as much as it is a distraction, because it is also very important, because this is the presidential candidate's son we're talking about, who is implicating him in foreign deals that are treasonous acts. So I don't think we can ignore it. And everything you just said has been confirmed. The emails, the text messages, the photos that were released, him doing crack. Those are all confirmed. The only thing that hasn't really been confirmed is the torturing, the child pornography, but it's already been put out. The photo of whoever the 14-year-old girl is in that photo. It's in everybody's faces now. If people need to hear it, yes, this is confirmed, this is actually going on, I can understand that. But if we are using our common sense, If we seen an email from Hunter Biden going to different foreign leaders implicating his dad, we can make the educated assumption this is confirmed. We have seen it with our own eyes. I don't know if everybody's seen it, but if you haven't, you should look at those documents. It's important.
Yeah. So with that said, I'm going to continue the conversation. This might be a better question for you, Yo-Yo, because here's my thing. If you disassociate all of the illegal criminal dealings when it comes to what could be money laundering, what could be deals with foreign governments, which could be bribery, which to me is the basis of treason. It is not. It is by definition, if it could affect a country and lead us into a war, lead us out of a war for incorrect reasons, it is treason. This is my issue. Take all that away. And this isn't a senator anymore. This isn't a head of a company. This isn't a pastor. This is somebody that is running to be the leader of the quote unquote free world. If you find out that their child has problems to that level where they are on video doing crack, sleeping with prostitutes, taking explicit videos, photos, doing all these things where they are just no offense, deadbeat drug addict. Again, this is not a judgment of a family. This is a judgment of somebody that could be the president of the United States of America. And you look at somebody like Donald Trump's kids, where I remember when there was the photo of them hunting and it made national news. Mm-hmm. You look at this story that NPR said they weren't going to cover because it was a distraction, yet they were covering a alleged story about Donald Trump from the Atlantic newspaper that had the Atlantic paper has a $500,000 donation to Joe Biden's campaign, and they printed an article that got shared everywhere, including NPR, that said that wasn't a distraction, that had no sources when Trump said allegedly said that people that die in war are losers, etc. There's been no corroboration to that story whatsoever. That was covered by NPR, but this has photos and proof and videos, all of it. And also people coming forward to speak on camera, and it won't be covered by mainstream media. So the two questions for you, Yo-Yo. Is that an issue to you that should, why is that not being covered? And two, take away the fact that all the treason stuff could be unproven. The fact that his kid does have those problems, are you okay with that person being the leader of our country?
I would like to see all the reports come out. It's something that happened. It's something that exists. So yes, I would like it to be covered by the media. I would like to see it 100%, and I would like to see his reaction to it. I hate to point fingers, but all of Trump's kids are really fucked up. And we've kind of just let that go. They're not the greatest role models. They're not that fantastic. And we accept that. But we knew that before he came into office. They've been on reality TV. It wasn't a surprise. People have fucked up kids. So my real concern would be seeing how he would react to his son. I would hope he would get him help. I don't think it's necessarily a reflection on his character. It doesn't have to be, but I am generally curious to see his reaction towards it.
I'll have to ask the question, or Corey. Corey, go ahead. Let me go first.
All right, I got a couple things. One, I need to give you a short different answer because you asked her a different question. So my first response would be, do I want that kind of person around the country if this is true that his son is doing crack, messing with these little kids and doing all this different stuff? The answer is no, because a man that cannot run his household cannot run a country. You know what I'm saying? A man that cannot raise his kids up to be stand-up citizens I don't feel is capable of running a country, including myself. So with me, so I got 2 boys, 2 girls. My girls are almost perfect. I thank God for that. My 2 boys, one is in the military and one is in prison. Okay. So I feel like if you asking me to run a country and somebody bring up the point to say, well, man, look at your son. Your son was running out here robbing, attempted murder, doing all these different things. And now you couldn't keep him on track. Why would you think that it's okay for you to run a country? And so at that point, I would either have to give a hell of an explanation for why and what I did to correct that, to show my leadership, or else say, then you got a point. The second thing that I want to ask Yo-Yo is, you said that Trump's kids are effed up. What is it that they are effed? What they do? What happened?
I'm curious too.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, they hunted wild game. I mean, like they've done stuff like that. They were rich kids that were not in politics.
There are no pedophilia.
Was it endangered wild game or just regular wild game?
I don't know. It was.
But we
It was
talking.
Or did they just hunt because they're really, really rich?
So what you're saying is a man is not a man unless he can control his family and his children.
No,
that's not what I said.
We're saying they can't be like there's a different level. Like Corey would be saying that he's not a man. No, he's saying that I've had imperfections, but I'm also not looking to lead the country. Like I think there's a big difference, and I don't fault anybody for having kids that have problems.
No,
like,
absolutely, yeah. So let me to clear what I'm saying. I'm not saying a man is not a man. To be honest with you, though, I get the question, because if you asking me, was I the man then that I am now? My answer is no, and I can give a strong explanation for that. So if I was just say I was to run for mayor in my city, and somebody bring that up, now I can say, okay, you're right. I messed up. I didn't do some things correctly. These are the things that I didn't do, and this is where I failed at in my leadership of my family, which I never had the family at that time because I wasn't married. I was doing everything incorrectly. So now I corrected that behavior. I'm a married man. I got 2 little girls. You know what I'm saying? They headed in the right direction, and I'm the head of my household. I'm the head of my wife, and everything is going super smooth. So I made that adjustment and I corrected that. So now that shows that I have the capability to lead. You know what I'm saying? But in my prior life, before I turned the leaf around and turned to God, I did not have the ability to lead, and it's obvious in what was manifested through my kids.
Well, I will say this, because this one is up. My parents, my grandma was an awesome mother, right? Awesome mother. But one went one way. Love my uncle, but one went one way. The other was a model citizen. At some point, parents give up all rights to the children when they turn 18, because they have to make their own choices. You can raise people in the best situations, but I know out of the 4 kids my parents had, we all acted differently, but we all got, no offense to anybody who don't like getting spankings, we all got spankings, we all got time out, we all got grounded, we all got disciplined the same amount. But at some point, the kids are going to make their own decisions. And something that I know, that looking at other family members who, again, have done a great job, one has gone a different way. You can't blame the parents for that as an adult. You can't blame the parents for their children when they become an adult, because they make their own decisions. It's like saying, well, you can't control your kids, but your kid is 40.
So I'm gonna agree with you, Curtis, and I do, and I think that's kind of even what Corey was hinting at, that sometimes things can change. But here's the problem: there's video of people asking, and now it gets back into the foreign dealings, and there's video that talks to Joe Biden saying, "What was your son getting involved in?" And Joe, at the point where Hunter was at the peak of his drug addiction, apparently was going, "I trust whatever my son does; it's fine." So when you are bringing your son into your business, this is no longer like, I feel bad, I can't help him anymore, I try, I send him money. He is involving him and his brother even into politics, into the fold, into our country. So just the same way the Trumps brought their kids in, but their kids, again, didn't have a bad background, they may be underqualified. There's a difference between being a crack addict and being underqualified. There's a drastic difference. And they've actually stepped into the role very, very well. Like Donald Trump Jr. is phenomenal. Phenomenal speaker. He's active. He gets involved. He probably is more of an intelligent politician than even Donald is at points. Yeah. So they've come in to do these things, and they've been trusted to do things, but their background had no issues like Hunter's is. And that's why I'm saying it could be an issue. Soonie, go ahead.
We have to go back to that question. I mean, that comment, though. I'm really curious as to how Trump's kids are fucked.
Oh, yeah.
Like, what happened?
There's a lot of do. I mean, I can Google it right now. Ivanka using taxpayer money. There's that one stupid kid that always is fucking up and is always in the news. It's just not top article right now. If I can take a minute, I will look up everything his children have done, which has been top page, front page news for several weeks at a time. But I will say so it's Biden's kid. We can't forget the allegations directly against Trump. with his pussy grabbing days, that stuff happened too.
Can I speak on that? I would love to speak on that.
Please do, because that's still not
Okay.
funny.
Okay. So I'm a man. Anthony's a man. And what's the name again? My brother, I forgot your name. I'm sorry. Curtis. We all men here. We've all said those kind of things. I can admit that to my wife. You ain't ever said. Hold on.
I've said some borderline things, but I've never said I'm going to forcefully ever do anything. Or
no. He never said forcefully.
He didn't say forcefully.
No.
He never said forcefully. That's cognitive dissonance.
Hold on. I didn't say forcefully. I meant to say I never said I could do something to a woman without her consent.
That wasn't when he got. We have totally spaced that comment out. Now I will say I will speak for Curtis on this. Curtis is he does not swear, he does not drink, so there is a lot, but he does like women a lot. Now, would I ever say that Curtis has ever said something to that line? No. But however, at the same time, we misconstrue that statement in our brains with cognitive dissonance of the story, this fish getting bigger and bigger. He said, how did exactly say it? He said
they let him.
Exactly.
Would they let you have so much money? It doesn't matter. You walk in, they let you. You could grab him by the pussy.
And he's not lying. And he's not lying.
Let's just be real. Like, I'm a woman. Okay, I'm a woman. I definitely want to be respected as a woman. But come on, we know that there are other women out there. When you see a man with some social status and some money, you might thought and bop a little bit. So if they were letting him grab, then that's their fault.
Thanks for keeping it real, Soonie. I love you.
I'm a woman. Yeah. I have really only mostly been friends with guys because I'm just not that high strung, sensitive woman. Where I'm
worried about the future, but maybe the future president, what his son said and did allegedly, than what this motherfucker said. Like, that's way more.
I will say this: character is big for me. Right. Yeah. So I know my character, and not going against Hunter, Joe, or going against Trump. I'm just saying in all, this is what I would apply to everybody, whatever you vote for. If your character allows for that, if your character is fine with that, that's fine. Vote that way. If your character is fine with Hunter doing these things that he's doing, that have been proven. I don't want to say alleged things. I don't want to get kicked off Facebook. But you gotta be real. But if your character is fine with that, great. So,
but the problem is at that level.
But I never finished my answer.
You can't say that. I just had idiots and racists and idiots. You empower stupidity.
Well, hold on. I'm gonna let Corey finish. We're also remembering we're talking about a rich. Hold on. We're talking about a rich guy's comment in 15 years ago in comparison to the current. Like this is a very old story off microphone. Right. Where you actually have real facts of something happening while he was serving in the office of vice president, senator, etc. Corey, finish your statement. Sorry.
Thank you. I appreciate that because I'm going to clear all this up. So, like I said, I personally have said that before and I've thought that before. Man, I want to grab that. Man, I want to do, well, come on, let's keep it real, right? So that does not, and that does not make me less of a man or who I am today. Because today I am a very loyal man to my wife, to my kids and my family, right? And I don't look at women that way and I don't think of women that way. But at one point in time in my life, I did. You know what I'm saying? So that does not mean that he has not grown from that. And that was many years ago. So everybody is taking this thing that he said some years ago to some friends and then blown it way out of proportion. But then when we bring up something that Joe Biden said that's extremely racist, you say, you know what you say? Well, that was so long ago. What do you mean? I can't believe you're saying
2020. He said, I'm not black if I don't vote Democrat. I got a problem with that.
And so everybody is like, it's two different standards for Trump versus Biden. And we all know why. Because we are allowing, well, some people are allowing their brains and minds to be manipulated by the mainstream media. And they're just going with what's trending. And that's it. I don't think that he was super bad demon for saying that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, was it wrong? Absolutely. But it was a while ago and it's over with. You know what I'm saying? And he's running the country now. He's doing a great job. And furthermore, that does not compare to having your niece in the bed with you. And
nasty.
Allegedly
being nasty and trifling.
Can I say one thing? Can I just say one thing?
No, sorry. Okay.
You, Soonie.
Listen, bro. Joe Biden did an interview with Cardi B. Have you not heard her lyrics? She objectifies herself, and then she sends it off to other young minority, Black, Latino, white children, girls, talking about your body parts. And nobody has a problem with that. That's empowering.
Yeah. What do WAP mean?
You know what? You know what? That's what it means.
So that's not being talked about as much as what what Trump
she
said.
ain't running for president. No,
I know,
but
but
what I'm saying,
interviewing for president.
He's using her. He's using her.
President.
It is freedom of speech.
Okay,
So
so then
why is it not the same?
so why is it not for Trump then?
Well,
that happened before he was
talking
president.
about her own body. Trump is talking about another person. Now, I'm not saying I'm justifying it or not. I'm just saying there's a clear difference between a woman saying, "This is me. I'm gonna grab me. I'm gonna do this."
I agree. It's not, but it's not different.
Man. Now, he could feel violated.
The societal portrayal of it, though, is what the issue is. Yes, it's two very different people. Agreed. One is the current president of the country, and one is a rapper that interviewed Joe Biden. But the thing is, that song has been, as Corey said, it's empowering. And honestly, I'm a believer of free speech. You can have that song, whatever, but it's when that is celebrated.
Thank you.
And an old comment from 15 years ago is still held against somebody that was done in a closed room that honestly is a lot like the philosophy behind WAP. It's similar stuff. It's kind of like grab this, I'll grab you. And now if you would have been, you know what I do? I bring them in a room, I lock them down, I handcuff them, and they can't leave. Different story. Honestly, that would change my opinion. But the way it was said, and like honestly, Curtis, in the world that you and I have traveled in together, and I used to own a staffing agency. There is girls that would just flirt on a whole different level and let me do whatever I wanted to, even though I did not do it. I literally, single parent mom, I know better than that, but the opportunities were there for that kind of thing. Now, did I ever hook up with people in those situations? Absolutely. But I'm going to tell you, I made them go through 78 different lines of defense to make sure I'd be like, are you sure you're good? Are you sure I can buy? Are you sure we can? Can you sign on this dotted paper that you're okay with whatever happens at this point? Like, I went through way too much for that.
I got a question.
I agree with that. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Corey.
So do you agree that he used that WAP as a stepping stone to get to black people?
What?
Joe?
Yeah. I don't
Quid
like
pro
that
Joe, pander pants.
Yeah. Did he use that WAP?
I'm sure he used Cardi B to talk to her just like Trump is with Kanye West. I mean, no offense, I compare those two.
Who'd you say?
Kanye?
I said I compare Kanye and Cardi B.
Are you serious?
Really?
I'm offended.
Curtis,
I'm
no,
offended.
see, listen.
Curtis is messing with us right now. With the tomfoolery of what they're saying. That's all
I think Kanye actually has a relationship with Donald Trump. I think they're actually friends. I think they actually have real.
He came out and denounced Trump, so I don't know.
He never. No. He never
denounced Trump.
That was a very
anything bad about Donald Trump.
That was
he said he went to the basement.
That was a targeted effort on both of their parts. Kanye pulls votes away. Kanye ran fully on purpose. That was fully on purpose.
That's completely different, man. You got a girl on TV half naked with bad intentions, and you got Kanye with good intentions, and then some people deem them bad intentions. That's two completely separate things.
No, what I was saying with y'all, I am talking about how Kanye is with Trump to help with the black vote, quote unquote, and Biden went to Cardi B to help with the black vote / Latino.
No,
vote.
I think Kanye went to Trump.
Kanye went to Trump. Trump goes, yeah, let's have a discussion, and then they developed this relationship over however many years that it's been now, 2.5, 3 years. Whereas Biden's campaign went to Cardi B and like, hey, can we get a real quick interview just to make sure that we can put this out there to your 175 fans?
Let me use that WAP. Let me use that WAP as a stepping stone to get to the black people. Then we're done with you.
Yeah, just to know, I don't like that song. I've never listened to the whole song of that. I can't.
Me neither. I don't listen to rap. I
can't do that. But I know some people that do, and I don't judge.
Yeah.
Yo, go ahead.
Cardi B's an entertainer. Like, she's an entertainer. What does it matter? Her job is to like flaunt her shit, do whatever she wants, and make money. Like her job is not to run the country. It's I mean, she can influence people, but that is not her job. I saw her live once.
It is her job.
That is her job. Yeah, that's exactly what her job is. It became her job.
Yeah. She chose to make it her job.
She is. I mean, I think she's empowering. She's kind of a badass. She does not care. She got
that explains it.
Started dancing. Excuse me, that was really rude. First of all, she started dancing. She was so committed to her whole dance. Her pants were too tight and split in the middle of a dance. She got off stage, put on a robe, came back and finished her scene. Like, I'm not one of her fans. Like, I mean, I enjoyed watching her, but she's a great entertainer. She is a great entertainer, and that's what she is, an entertainer. And if
I'm going to give a personal Cardi.
Having a wet pussy, let them feel empowered for having a wet pussy. Just like it's okay for men to talk in the locker room about grabbing people by the pussy. Why isn't it okay for a woman to speak openly about that? I respect her for doing that. Why not?
I'm going to say I agree with you on the song. She's allowed to have freedom of speech, but here's the deal. I'm going to give a personal experience with Cardi. I hosted a concert with Cardi on spring break. She's an asshole. First off, great entertainer. You are 100% correct. She does not care about her fans, does not care about anything. She made a bunch of college kids stand outside in the heat for 2.5 hours when she was already there on time and just chose to just chill in the room because she felt like being late. Then we had to rush her because of the light, and also put my life in danger, put the people working in danger, because 15,000 college kids can get pretty rowdy at that point of the whatever. And this is a common occurrence with her. I don't think she's a great person. She also has a background that she's admitted to that is criminal type behavior. And here's the problem. When you now are a public figure with 100-something million fans, you have a responsibility. Now, that song, WAP, that's her choice if that's what she wants to spread. But if you take the responsibility to educate people on a political level and empower people, you should be a decent human. She never once has apologized for her past of robbing, stealing, drugging men, 1. 2, she's chosen to create these lyrics that are over the top for many people and chooses to call it empowerment, which some people, again, it's music. It's the freedom of First Amendment. It's cool. That's you. But when you choose to insert yourself into influencing the minds of human beings, children, etc., young adults, you need to take a level of self-responsibility. And fact is,
she's not a politician.
What's that?
She's not a politician.
But politicians have less power than less power than celebrities.
Let me explain this, right? I'm 30. I grew up in the age of social media becoming relevant, popular. I watched IG come out. I watched every single app come out. I watched how my childhood was. And I look at what my children have to grow up with. You can't tell me that celebrities don't have a responsibility because they're not influencers. They are. Do you see how many young girls are walking around with freaking Edward Scissorhands as if that's something appealing? How many girls are okay with showing their body parts? I was never raised to do that. You don't go off and show all that and flaunt it and then call it empowerment. It's trashy. I don't ever want my daughter to ever grow up doing that type of crap.
There's an opinion.
Also, I'm about to say that is an opinion. Okay. And that is a judgment that has been laid that this is you're not laying that, but other people would lay that and say, well, this person is trashy. That dressing like that is your opinion in trashy. And I Anthony, to tell you, I don't look at that on Instagram, right? Everybody on social media has the choice to look at what you want to look at, right?
Yeah, but you guys are adults. We're talking about the youth.
Well, that's where the parenting comes in, because you can't stop them from seeing that. But you can prepare them for it, because you're trying to hide people from the world. They're going to see it. Like, even growing up, when I grew up, my parents was like, you can't listen to hip hop or rap or rock and roll or anything like that. But it was still there at school. I still heard it at basketball, football practice, on the bus. So it's like, how do you train your children to be prepared for that? And then that's
everybody don't have a parent.
So let's get to a real question. First, I want to make it real responsive that I don't seem that I'm being disrespectful or anything, because there's a thing called line crossing. So let me say this. I personally would not want any of my daughters or my wife or my mother doing what Cardi B is doing. Would you?
I mean, if you don't
Because
want
you said it was badass. You said she badass. So I'm trying to figure out: would you want your kids or your mother or doing that?
No. So I will
Okay.
teach them a better way, but I will show that they can have 100% have the freedom to see whatever they want. They will be exposed to everything, and they will make up their own minds, because women can make up their own minds. They can see things, and they're very intelligent. They don't have to see Cardi B on stage saying wet ass pussy and then be like, oh my God, I'm going to be a stripper. That is not how it works. And censorship does not work, and it's already been proven censorship doesn't work. The exact opposite happens from censorship. You take away from them, they're going to go the exact opposite, and they're going to do that behind your back.
Right. So that's a no that you wouldn't approve of your kids doing that, right? That's a no, right?
And I'm going to teach them better.
No, I'm just making.
If that's what they want to do, then that's what they're going to do. I'm not a dictator.
No, but I'm asking you, what do you think? What would you think?
Would you be disappointed in your kid if that was like if your 11-year-old came home and was like literally just reciting the lyrics of that song, dancing, doing
They heard a song
videos.
by an entertainer. They heard a song by an entertainer that's played on the radio. I'm going to say, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. And let's see why that came to your attention.
Yeah, but would you approve it?
Ban the entertainer. I'm going to take responsibility for my children and teach them better, but they will be exposed to it.
No, but I'm asking you, would you approve of your daughter doing that?
I think she said that she said she'd have a discussion. I don't think she'd approve of it. I think she would just say that she'll be exposed, and hopefully she'll be able to make better decisions. I think that's a fair. There are different methods of parenting. I think that's a fair way.
It's fair, but you can't forget these children that don't have parents like us that are willing to teach them the difference between right and wrong. Because I'm sorry, I grew up in that single parent home where immoral things were taught to me. And I thought it was okay to scheme, to go do what Cardi B is doing. And that's not okay. Every child doesn't have a kid. I mean, every child doesn't have a parent like me to set them straight and say, absolutely not. This is what it is. Now, whatever you go off and do after you're 18, you go do that. But while we're here, that's not what we're doing.
Hunter took that to heart. Anyways.
Well, I just want to say one thing. Now we're putting the burden of raising children on entertainers. When that's
not at all.
Unfortunately, you can't put that on an entertainer or politician or anybody else.
You're correct. It should be on the parent, should be on the household. But the thing is, as a pragmatic thinker, we know that that's not always possible. And actually, more often than not, it's not possible. All right. You guys are doing great. We're going to move on. I do want to, Carolyn's statement. We've seen Carolyn on the show before. I think there is also, and this is my last conversation because we went from Hunter to then talking about Cardi and empowerment. But empowerment is not advertising. You have a wet something. Empowerment is knowing who you are and what you have. But hold on, Yosra, and what you have without having to use that to get attention or fame, in my opinion. So I think, and Yo-Yo, I'll let you end this one. But I think that we have somehow in this country started taking the concept of empowerment and we've bastardized the term of empowerment. Empowerment is being able to have freedom of decisions. Empowerment is to be able to make the same decisions that a man can. And ultimately, a man would be judged the exact same way for using their body and using drugs and being whatever, being the same person that Cardi talks about. So a man would be judged for it. It's about being a upstanding person. It's got nothing to do with being an empowered female. Empowerment has to do with being strong and of conviction. Just saying, let a woman do with it whatever she wants with her body when some things are dangerous, I think is a dangerous philosophy for our country. Yo-Yo, did you want to end this combo?
Yes. So in her opinion, the post you just put up there, that's not empowerment. But why can't it be for someone else? Like that's not empowerment.
I just said it.
It doesn't have to be dangerous. So in your point, so woman, when you get back to the danger thing, we go back to like economics class and sociology. Like, so a woman walks into a bar, she's wearing a jean dress. Do you remember that lesson? Everyone presented it differently. So the men all said this jean skirt this woman was wearing was so short. It was so short, she was asking for it. All the women were saying, oh my God, no, had sleeves, blah, blah, blah. It should not matter. It should not matter. That woman was a woman walking into a bar. What she's wearing doesn't matter. So I think the way we're thinking altogether, the way we present women as objects that need to be protected and need to be saved walking into a bar, they should not need to be. Maybe men need to control themselves. Maybe women need to walk out and not be seen as sexual objects. Maybe it shouldn't matter what we're wearing because, I mean, Justin Bieber, the dude from Maroon 5, they get on stage and they hump the air. No one says anything. Cardi B gets up there, shows her titties. Everyone's like, oh my God, what kind of role model is this? She can do whatever the fuck she wants. Why not? Why not?
Yeah.
All
Okay.
about
Well, the dangerous part, Anthony, did you mean dangerous as in what she's saying, or what is
dangerous for your
about?
health. I mean, it could be health dangerous. It could be
What, like how? What way?
if you. So I want to. I'm going to end it like this. It could be a couple different things. So first off, I agree with Yosra in the sense that we should not say it was. It should never be muttered. It was her fault because look what she was wearing. However, I'm going to throw something into if we actually get to it, which I don't think we will. With Philly. The guy had mental health problems, which has been thrown around a lot lately. So here's the problem. No, a girl wearing a miniskirt walking into a bar did not ask for it, period. And 99% of the men in that room or 98% of the men in that room will go, that's an attractive woman. She looks sexy and move on. But we can't control the 2% that have mental problems that are not able to control themselves. So the best way to control that is by saying, maybe not. And honestly, I hate to say that, but the world we live in is the world we live in. No girl deserves to be raped no matter what she is wearing. That's an absolutely ridiculous concept. But are you putting yourself at risk? Now, if you're using your sexuality to sleep around, not use protection, you're putting yourself at risk. If you are, and again, you don't know which man is going to be that serial killer, that dangerous person. So yes, most men should understand the difference of respect with a woman, but we cannot control the criminal behaviors in this country for those that are bad. And that's something we forget about when we think it's a blanket statement when we say she shouldn't have wore that, she asked for it. That's a terrible way to say it, but there is something behind it that actually makes sense. She didn't ask for it, but she put herself at risk because we can't control the criminal behavior in this country. I'm going to end that conversation because I want to have a good, bad conversation. Because I think this is important. This is something that I think a lot of us are going through. It's election week. This is it. Like we're seeing the just pinnacle of people being assholes to each other. And that goes for both sides. I've seen some posts on my friends on the right that are not being kind to people. And there was something brought up and I'm going to show a post and I'm going to air it. I'm going to show it. But there was something interesting said. Well, I've heard it because the comment is there's good and bad. There's good and evil. There's, in terms of just thinking of two different classes of people. And what I was looking at was the liberal saying, I'm good, everybody else is bad. And then somebody else brought up, well, this last week, somebody else agreed on the post, but this last week, I've heard a lot of people saying things in both directions. And I said, yes. And you know what? What's interesting, and I don't think it's as bad of a comment. I do see the Republicans and conservative side, Trumpers, saying that a liberal is stupid or dumb, which is a bad statement. It's bad. But I will tell you personally, my belief system is calling somebody saying that I'm good and you are bad is actually worse than, because that's more of a character thing. Calling somebody stupid, you're calling them stupid. Not okay, but very different than separating yourself as a better than person instead of stupid and right. Neither are correct, but I do think there is nothing worse than saying somebody's good and bad. So I'm going to bring this up real quick. I'm going to share the screen. I doubt she's watching anyway. So
I will say, I've had a lot of friends who are on the right side say the liberals are evil and demonic. A lot, actually. So I just want to make sure some people might have said that. Let's just keep it as nice as we can while we're out there on both sides. Because definitely liberals have definitely said, like you're about to show, they have said that the right is bad and dumb and yeah.
Yeah, so let's just keep that to a minimum when you're in your conversations in this final week. Lead with kindness, because in the end, no matter who wins and who loses, at least you can be on the end of this saying, I did my best to be a decent human, because that is really the point. So this is an article written and said, no, this president is not, this is part of the article, an excerpt. This president is not a good human being in any such way. Things are objectively measured, and good people won't be voting for him again, no matter what story they tell themselves. They just won't. You can argue with me, but you can't argue with you. So good people aren't voting for him again. And I said, I love being told I'm not a good person by friends. I'm so tired of 2020, the division that comes from it, and all the good people I've lost as friends for judging my political beliefs. This post is sad, and John's article is why there's so much division in this country. I hope you take a step back for a second and think about the exact implications of this post. And of course, I sneak in my BetheChange. We do have this comes, and people just straight up blame the division in this country as a red and blue state coming from Trump, which I find very interesting because that was brought up in the debate, might I add. It was brought up in the debate by Biden saying, you always say things are red and then red states and blue states. His next sentence actually said, he was actually going, but if you look at the red states, like he literally did the exact thing within 5 seconds of condemning Trump for doing it. But I can just go through this real quick. She thought of the implications of the post. I shared it because there are people that I love voting for a bad person. I hope they pray that you will rethink exactly what you're doing, support the Republican Party. This president has to get out of here. People, of course, in the echo chamber piled on. People laughed at me when I said stuff. I said the division, or the quote unquote, she said the division clearly comes from Trump. Meanwhile, you're the one actually sharing division. Stop deflecting and take ownership. You just made yourself out to be a better person than half the country. That includes gay people, straight people, black people, white people, disabled people, Asian. This guy wrote a piece riddled with "I'm a better than," and she owned it. And I use my typical reference of it's like when people just yell at the KKK members and say you're a terrible person. It's not going to change anybody. That's not the way to create change. That's not the way to change people's hearts and minds. And ultimately, that post continued on with like, I don't want to judge you for a different belief, but I want you to allow me to have my own. So with that said, I want to start with Soonie. What do you think about that whole post? And I know you've catch some flack on both sides lately on some of your stuff.
I call it righteous justification. People feel like Republicans are just intolerant, mean, nasty people because of what's presented to them on mainstream media. I wonder if a lot of these people even are friends with conservatives or Republicans to even make those statements, because we're all sitting here talking. And I think you guys are extremely cool. I could care less what your political affiliations are. Like, who cares? So I think that's just a extremely judgmental statement. And it's really intolerant.
And it's part of being liberal, which I've been liberal the greater part of my life, and I still consider a lot of my beliefs to be liberal, is supposed to be a lack of judgment. And when I bring that up to people like her and to other people that I've had friends like that, they simply say, yeah, except for right now.
Yeah.
That's not exclusive.
And it's sad because I have literally lost family members who feel like I'm batshit crazy just for supporting Trump. And when you ask the key questions, how is he racist? What has he done? Well, he said something about Mexicans. And you all have said something about white people. I'm sure half the people here said something about Mexicans. We've all said some stuff. It's not like he was saying anything actually racist. He said MS-13 and some Mexicans coming here are criminals. That's not a false statement. It doesn't make you racist. It's like it doesn't make you racist to ask a group of black people, hey, what do you have to lose this year? Democrats haven't done anything for you. Try voting for me. I don't understand. I think it's just extremely judgmental and just intolerant. That's the only thing I get from those posts and the people that come at me backwards and crazy.
Yeah. And the interesting thing, it continued, which was really funny, because somebody commented, because I said something along the lines of, this is sad, and somebody was just mocked me and said, yes, it really is. Said, you're not going to change Anthony's mind, but you are sharing articles that have been fact-checked, and that is more than we can say for 45. This, to me, is one of the comments that boggles my mind. This is literally, I don't think people understand what a fact is anymore. Yeah. That was an editorial piece, and that's not a fact-checked article. And to deal with that, it's like, I don't even know how to have that conversation and say, no, you're just siding with an editorial, an opinion, which is completely fine to have an opinion. But to tell me that this is a fact-checked article when it's just a full-on editorial piece shows the level of, or the lack of knowledge you have in the conversation you're trying to have. I'm going to go with, let's go with Yo-Yo. What do you think about this? And I know that you and I talked, and you've faced a lot from the right.
Yes. I think it's pretty obvious. I think it's obvious that it happens on both sides. I've had some people be really, really nasty to me. I've had very long, meaningful conversations with conservatives that I've actually agreed with, and they've agreed with me. We've gotten along great. But I've had some people just straight up tell me I was just a stupid Muslim or whatever. Like, that kind of garbage happens on both sides. It happens 100% on both sides. I mean, I think that's just obvious. Like, so I did write something while we were talking. Let me just read that because I do better with writing. The judgments and responsibility put on women is invented by society. Thinking we can do better is not out of touch with reality. It's hopeful. You can't stop famous people from being famous, but we can teach the next generation to do better. You can only teach better when you're exposed to the bad. So talking about that stuff that's hurt, or like saying I'm better than you or whatever, I think if you're able to have a complete conversation, if you're intelligent enough to be able to hear both sides, you can have a medium understanding. No, I really don't think one side is completely right. I really don't think one side is completely wrong. There is a middle ground, because all these people in America are not stupid. Like, people are just being stubborn at this point. We're grasping on to what we started agreeing with 4 years ago, and we really don't have to. We could just listen to each other and be better.
Couldn't agree more. And I think that was kind of my point as that conversation continued with them. And really, we do have so much power. And it was my concept was to take that self-responsibility, like this whole, and I had a conversation with a gentleman this evening. That's like, the division is there. The division's been there for a long time. During Trump presidency has gotten much worse. But in my mind, a few of his catchphrases that people take fire on are completely swallowed up, unfortunately, by the media, instead of the hours and hours of the rest of the time when he's actually talking about policy and talking about being good and being decent human beings. And we, instead of taking the responsibility for ourselves, we deflect that blame of division directly on him, when it's solely our responsibility if we want to be divided, as well as what the media has. And I always like to put the media just a hair above the human being. And like you said, Yo-Yo, in terms of we're trying to raise, it's not about the celebrities, we're trying to raise a generation. That's a great thought process. But going back to pragmatic thought, right now, in a lot of broken families and broken homes, it is unfortunately the celebrities that are raising our children. And that is the fear that we have. That is why some of us place such an issue with the Cardi B's of this world. Corey, go ahead, man.
I don't know if this is jumping a little bit sideways off the subject, but I want to talk about if I make a statement and you say that that's judgmental, then you've been judgmental by saying what I'm saying is judgmental. So you're doing the exact same thing that you said I'm doing, and you're speaking against it. You know what I'm saying? So at some point we have to get real with each other and just be real across the board. There are good people and there are bad people, period. And let's not act like it's not. So and how you deem a person being good or bad is based on where you're getting your morals from. You know what I'm saying? And that's just the bottom line. Like I said earlier in the studio, different people believe in different things. You know what I'm saying? Different people have different standards, and those standards have to be set by that person. You understand what I'm saying? So of course, if I got a person, let's just get down and real, like Joe Biden, you know what I'm saying? You want to kill babies, all this different stuff, then I deem you a bad person. Period. That's what I deem a bad person based on the morals that I have from the God that I believe in. You know what I'm saying? So there is a such thing of good and bad, and there is a such thing of judging people, and that's okay.
Curtis, go ahead.
All right, so I will disagree about the calling a statement judgmental, because that, to me, that is just saying something is, in my opinion, judgmental, right? I only say that is because we just talked about Cardi B and women wearing certain things and reactions, and then we talked about that 1 or 2% of men that can't control themselves, that potentially were going to do something wrong anyway, and then we go into talking about self-responsibility, and people are going to have to be responsible and own it. And it's a lot of this roundabout, and this is something that my dad kind of pointed out to me, and my parents are pastors and very conservative, but at the same time, they're very real because they grew up in a time that was way worse than what we're in right now. People like to think this is the worst time ever. No, ask your parents what they were doing back in the 60s. But if you're that old, anyway. But going back to the whole self-responsibility and the non-judgment part of it, there was a lot of judgment that I think is underthrown at people and how they react. I mean, how they act, what they wear, what they say. And I am guilty of this, of having those judgments, because how my morals were taught to me is that's not right. You shouldn't dress like that. You should speak to people like this. You should do well. But then I started to realize that I am pushing my morals on somebody else. And kind of how Anthony was saying is you can't force this on other people and saying somebody is good or saying somebody is bad, right? Because you're their judgment and jury, because you make that judgment that they're good or they're bad. And then we go into just letting people just, say, okay, you're going to have to do you, and I'm only going to focus on me. And I'm about to say, for the difference between judgment and discernment is I discernment of who I'm going to put around me, who I'm going to watch, who I'm going to listen to, what I'm going to eat, right? We talk about health. We all have our own discernment to figure out what you're going to eat. I can't judge McDonald's and say they're bad because they make bad food. No, they don't give it to me for free. I have to go there and take my hard-earned money and go buy a Big Mac with fries and a Diet Coke, because the Diet Coke's going to save those calories. But that's my choice. I have to make these choices. We all have choices. That's one thing in this election that I started to see is a lot of people are starting to say, you got to do how I think is best. You got to do what I think is best. And that's why both sides are fighting so much, because everybody's trying to get the other person to do what they think is best, when we all are saying we just want to have our own freedom to make our own choices. And so when I hear that, I go, well, why are we trying to tell somebody what they got to do if I'm fighting for my right to be free in America, to make my own choices, but then I'm trying to make a law to say what you can't do because I don't like that. So I look at that and I go, I don't agree with a lot of things that people want to have choice to do. I don't agree with a lot of it. But at the same time, who am I to tell them what to do? And that's how I try to live my life.
Well, to answer your question is, why do we try to sway people to vote the way we want to vote? Because we deem what's right and we deem what's wrong. And so when I think about voting and who I'm going to vote for, the biggest thing, listen, man, I'm more than halfway through my life. Only got some years left. Okay, I understand that. But when I look at my kids and I look at my grandkids and I think about who I want to be running this world, right? I don't want a person like Joe Biden running this world, because I know what his intentions is. See, everything is judged by the intent. Just like when you go back to a woman and she's at home in her closet and she's standing in her mirror and she's saying, okay, I'm about to go to the club, so I'm going to put on these skimpy clothes and this and that. So what is her intention? You know what I'm saying? So it's okay to judge people by their intention. Listen, we have to do it. You know what I'm saying? I know that everybody like I know Tony, you kind of disagree with that, but listen, man, we got to quit being so nice. We got to quit being so passive and just keep it real and tell the truth. This is what it is. There are good people, there are bad people, there are good things, there are bad things. We all know that. That's why we don't do certain things, and that's why we do certain things. And unless we recognize that, we just run around doing whatever we want to do. You know what I'm saying? And so I do take it personal. I do get upset when you telling me that you're going to vote for this guy, knowing what his intention is, and knowing that my kids and my grandkids, my great grandkids got to live in this world, and you don't care. Like that's just crazy to me. You know what I'm saying? So that's the reason why I go so hard for Trump and the way I do, because I strongly feel that Joe Biden is a bad person. I strongly feel that Joe Biden is an evil person. I deem anybody that would kill a baby evil. Period, point blank. That's it. That's all. You know what I'm saying? And if you feel different, then that's fine. But I'm not trying to force you to do that, because force is like force. You know what I'm saying? But I am trying to persuade people to turn away from that evil, from what I deem to be evil.
Really quick, just put it out there. I just found this out. The treatment that Trump got from what was that?
Fake news.
Regeneron.
Fake news.
Yeah,
It's
fake
fake
news.
news.
You
Yeah,
sure?
fake news.
Regeneron came
No,
out
hold
and
on.
said
Okay, so I'm
those
actually
are cells
I'm
from
gonna answer your question.
a fetus.
You said, "Am I sure?" Okay, so here's the honest answer. No, I'm not sure. That's why I didn't say it. But so I don't think that you sure either. You know what I'm saying? We don't know that. That's just something that people.
I read that from the Regeneron statement.
It don't matter where you because you read something don't mean it's true.
But that's the company who made it. So if Nike
But
tells me the
it's
shoes don't
still-
have air in it,
Well, hold on. We didn't actually explain what you were talking about, Curtis. Go ahead, because I know we kind of know what we're talking about for people that are watching or listening.
Mhm.
What are you saying, Curtis?
so there's a treatment that the president received from Regeneron. It's called Regeneron. It's a antibodies treatment to give the body antibodies to fight COVID-19. Regeneron, the company who made it, said it came from cells from an aborted fetus that they were using to make this drug. So that's what I'm asking is, did you know that? I am not, first of all, just know I am not defending any of that. I'm just saying, did you know that? Because a lot of people don't. And I just want people to know what other people might bring up to fight against that. That's all.
Okay. So here's my answer. No, I did not. I've heard that, but I believe it to be fake news. And if I find it to be true, then I would charge that against Trump, just like I would if it was Joe Biden. You know what I'm saying? If he used that drug and it came from a dead baby or whatever, however you want to put it, he's wrong for that. Period. Point blank. There's no debating that. You know what I'm saying?
What if he didn't know?
What if who didn't know?
Trump. I can't blame him for that.
No, then you can't blame him for it. No, if he didn't know, I mean, if he knew it was wrong, if he didn't know, then he didn't know, and that ain't wrong. You know what I'm saying? But if he did, then he's wrong.
For the sake of, I don't like fake news. This is on heavy.com, which a lot of people read. Regeneron told Heavy that their antibody cocktail was not developed using human, fetal, or embryonic stem cells. They don't use that.
Correct. I'm looking at, and this is shocking. I'm actually going to Snopes, which I never recommend, but I always say to read the actual the byline. And what's false about it is it says mixture, which typically means it's going to be in it's trying to find a way to make it semi-true. The main part that's false: no human embryonic stem cells or recently harvested fetal tissues were used in the development of Regeneron -CoV-2, according to the manufacturer. So that was not brought up. What is true is the manufacturer of Regeneron stated that it employs stem cells in its research, most commonly mouse embryonic stem cells and human blood stem cells. The antibiotic cocktail given to Trump is a combination of two human-made proteins and was developed using a decades-old line derived from embryonic kidney tissues obtained from an aborted human fetus in 1973. So they're using the plan, the path, I guess, the pathway. So Corey was right. In this case, it is fake news. So
I didn't say it was. Let me rephrase that. They did use it in the research to get to that.
They use an example that had been done in 1973. They used the roadmap created, but not in any way, shape, or form was it used in creating that.
And so this is the point that I was trying to make earlier. This is what's crazy to me. So we taking this so-called embryo that was used for Trump's treatment or whatever, but then you got Joe Biden and Kamala Harris sitting right on TV, right in front of a camera saying, kill babies. And they support it. That's just crazy. Like, how do you...
Or that's empowering to women to go abort your child. And I've been through an abortion, so I have a little bit of expertise in this, and it's not an empowering moment.
It's murder.
It is very traumatic. It's mentally traumatic. It's physically traumatic. And no woman, I don't care, you shouldn't just feel like the government is responsible, because that's what they want ultimately. They want government funding for these programs. I'm not responsible. My taxpaying dollars are not going to go towards you murdering your child. It's murder. I went through it. The experience is not liberating. You feel your child being ripped from your uterus. You feel it.
It's murder.
I can't get behind any candidate that is okay with abortion. So if I'm going to use my platform to speak against Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, because they don't care for Black lives, nor do they care for children that are not even born yet.
Yeah, we've had this topic before when we bring up abortion, and I think it's a tough one. And I, as a man, I don't like making the decision. And again, it is still a judgment, and we are allowed to be different on how we feel about judgment. This started out with the conversation of the good and bad, and we don't always feel certain things. Here's the thing. I do think there's good and bad people in this world, absolutely, and I think we're allowed to think about who that is. I think there's good human beings that do everything right and have bad things happen to them. I think there's bad people that murder people, and whether we could talk about the different levels of abortion. That's one way to look at it. I also think there's bad people that, you know, scam old people every day in their life. The way I looked at this whole concept is I went to the Trump rally the other day. I told you guys this last night when we were on Cash's show, Breaking the Barriers. I thought about the post that Michelle had. And I look at it and I go, I looked at these old women, and to think that just because of who they're voting, I think there's a difference, even though it means a lot. I do think voting means a lot. I do think supporting a candidate, whether you believe in pro-life or pro-choice, I think that can mean a whole bunch. But there is so many issues that go into a presidency. And I think right now we're under the belief that we have to agree with every single party platform somebody has. Otherwise, they're terrible people. I can tell you there is no chance that I agree with every single thing Trump does. And I can tell you if there is a single person that agrees with every single thing Biden does, I think you're crazy. I think everybody, if you agree with you don't even have you're not even married to people that you fully agree with. Yo-Yo doesn't play games. She's not a gamer. Her husband's a gamer. We are different people. We're going to have different opinions on where we go. And I think to just judge somebody because of the checkbox on their ballot, I do think is, to me, wrong. I will cast judgment on that judgment, as Corey said. So I will cast judgment on that. So I just think there's so much more to life than that, than judging the voting. Because again, at the end of the day, Soonie, you dealt with abortion, and you have a different belief system, but you're a good person. You live your life to be a good person. And there's other people that maybe don't regret or don't have the same feelings towards when they had an abortion, and they're also really good people. I think there's something different in terms of late-term abortions. I don't think that counts as abortion. I think that to me, and again, this is me impressing my beliefs on people. I think that is murder, and for non-medical reasons. And there's more of that happens than people realize. People think that that's a very isolated incident, but it's actually in the thousands yearly. I think that's a problem. I don't think people should make that kind of decision at 6 months, 7 months, and go, meh.
And to clear it up, I was a teenager, and my mom put me in a very uncomfortable situation by saying, "You get out of my house or you get an abortion." So yeah, because somebody said you're pro-life. Yeah, I was a teenager. Give me that option now. I'm gonna look at you like you're crazy and walk out. Okay, I'll move out. You have a good one.
That's something too where I look at it as we everybody's looking at pro-life or pro-choice, but we're not looking at the reason why, right? The whole thing is education. And if your mom would have been educated and would have had a way, not saying she's not educated, you know what I'm saying? Like, please don't take that wrong. Anthony's the king of catching my gaffes, right? You know, what was I talking about? I'm joking. But I'm just saying is we have the promise. We have to look at the education of that one topic. If we can educate people on ways to, you know, like all the different things that come with it, right? With it or after it or before it, you could potentially prevent those things from happening instead of saying, you can't do this or I want to be able to do whatever I want. We should have a way to help people understand, like, if we're going to say no to people having abortions, we also need to set up ways so they can have the education, have the mental health, have the money if something happens and they get pregnant, they don't want to abort it, they want to keep it. And a lot of people I've heard, and I've had family members get told, you can't afford this, have an abortion. And they're forced to have an abortion because they don't have enough money to afford this. And it's sad because you sit back and go, well, you should have it. Well, how do I support this? And so that's where I look at it and I go, well, if we want to have pro-life, right, we need to make sure we're doing things to provide programs for young mothers. If something happens, the dad dies, he's in jail, something, that they have the support, or even if they're together.
We
right?
do.
It's tough. They need to have that support system where we come together and do that, because it used to happen. I know my grandma has talked about it, how they had to come together and say, no, we helped each other raise our kids. We helped each other in that. And I know this can sound wrong if you weren't brought up in a Black household, but that village mentality. Because a lot of people take that Black Lives Matter post and say, oh, village is bad, kill a nuclear family. No, that means for me, when my family said you got a village mentality, is my mama's friend can spank my butt if she see me acting up, because she's going to make sure, because she's doing it out of love, and they're all working together. Not saying spank my butt in a way, I'm just saying she can discipline me. Again, you got to be politically correct, right? It's a political show. But I'm just saying that is something that we have lost. People don't work with each other anymore. People don't, and I'll say anymore. Some do. I just know a lot of communities stick to themselves. They're not working together as parents. They're not stalking each other. And I had that growing up. I'm not gonna lie. My neighbors did a great job with my parents in New Orleans anyway, of making sure that we were all seen. We had like everybody's parents looked out for the kids. There was no worries. Now it's kind of scary to even let your kids go to other kids' houses and play. And that's something that I think is a problem. And in that whole, the pro-choice, pro-life, I think we need to look at it as a way to come together and help those people who are pregnant, and help them understand there's a better way of instead of just doing that. And again, I'm not beliefs on anybody. I'm just thinking of ways to help.
Yeah.
People, you know.
Well, we have ways. I mean, we got welfare. You got adoption.
Come over here.
Welfare is not good. Welfare is a flawed system.
So,
I have people on it.
Okay, yeah, I agree with that too. But that still does not give you, like, I can't imagine me sitting here saying, well, you know what, I can't afford these kids, so I'm gonna kill them.
So there was something, and I know Yo-Yo has been quiet during this, and I this is one of my beliefs where I'm very in the middle on. There's a big difference in the far left ideal, the middle ideal, and the far and the right ideal. Which there's the pro-life. Funny enough, there is a lot of pro-choice people that are voting for Donald Trump, because I think that they see that he is not as ironclad of a pro-life president as previous pro-life Republicans. But there's a different ideology when it comes to being pro-choice and allowing mistakes in humans and people to make those decisions, which could be very difficult, and celebrating it. I remember Miley Cyrus when there was the win in New York City or New York for a platform where late-term abortions were allowed. People didn't quite understand what that was. They did not understand the medical background behind it. They were celebrating the fact that a woman could do whatever she wanted with her body up until the point of childbirth, which is, to me, absolutely insane. And people were celebrating. There's a difference between the destruction, shame, and dealing with having to go through the tragedy of an abortion and celebrating it. And that's the key. I think the concept of celebrating is where we've lost. And I think the concept of not allowing a rape victim to get to do something like that, I think the far extremes are just killing that conversation.
Yeah, you're right. I think it needs, hey, look, I'm not against anybody making whatever choices they want to make. If you want to go do that, I can't tell you not to do it, but I can tell you that I don't want my taxpaying dollars to go towards anything you're doing there. I don't think the federal government should be involved, but hey, do whatever you want. And like he said, it's not something to celebrate.
Yeah. Curtis, go ahead. I know you got to run on a work call. We're going to wrap up right after this. Go ahead and say your final piece, head out. Tell us which way you voted.
You know I can't do that. I love the suspense. But that's my parents. My parents. This is what I'll say. My parents told me, Curtis. I asked, like, who y'all voting for? They're like, we're not gonna tell you. I was like, I love it. My parents are like, we don't want to tell you, so we don't influence you to change, to make your own decision. And that's something that I grew up with. My parents were like, we're gonna take you to church, but we're gonna let you, as you hit 13. You're going to have to make your own decisions, right? And they allowed me to go out into the world because they prepared me for what the world had. And if you're prepared, you can't be ready for everything, but I can be prepared to make and adapt and make a decision. And something I got from CrossFit, from being in it for so long, it was you have to prepare for the unknown and unknowable.
Apparently he gave up right there. He's like, you gotta prepare for this.
Everybody got to freeze.
That's a good position. I'm gonna get a text from him in a minute. I'm sure. Apparently, it really is the end of the world.
Oh, that's messed up, man. That's messed up.
We're not laughing at you, Curtis. We're laughing with you. All right. That was Curtis saying goodbye. Here's the deal, guys. We were going to talk about Philly. I think since I've got some stuff going on this weekend, I'm going to do some late night shows. I know we've got some other members of the Conservengers that are going to be joining. No offense, Yo-Yo, you are not invited to the Conservengers show.
But I have a closing statement.
Yeah, of course. I'm going to let you go first. But first off, can we just is that not an epic logo? Can we talk about that?
That is nice.
That's good stuff. So, Soonie, when you're available, as well as Corey, we're going to have you guys hop on. If you haven't watched Take Naps with Bobby Sauce yet, Bobby Sauce and I might go on live late tonight if Cash, I don't know where Cash went. So, anyways, we're going to do closing remarks. And this also, Yo-Yo, if you don't get a chance, talk to people again why you voted for Biden, your final remarks with the last 3 or 4 days before 5 days before the election. Yo-Yo, the floor is yours.
Thank you. First of all, I wanted to thank Soonie for sharing your personal story. I know it's not an easy thing to do, and it's a very strong thing to do, and I admire that, and I think it was very courageous. So yes, thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that. I don't think it's liberating. I don't think it's empowering. It's incredibly difficult.
Hold on, Yosra.
Hey, you can't shut me up.
Yo-Yo hasn't had a chance to talk in forever, and finally,
I'm done. I just say bye. I love you.
Bye. Sorry, Yo-Yo. Bye, Curtis.
That was a good one.
I want to thank you. But yeah, it's incredibly personal. And it was very brave of you to share that, and it's a hard choice to make. And I admire that you were strong enough to say that you regret that decision. But I do think it's a personal decision. Like you said, I mean, it doesn't have to be taxpayer dollars, but it is each person's personal decision to make. I don't think it's up to a government official to tell us what we can or can't do. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I agree with you. But I don't think pro-life should be a law. I think every woman should have the decision to make that choice for her own self, for her own body. I know you don't want your daughters to do that, but believe it or not, in 5-10 years, they're going to grow up and they're going to make the decision themselves. And no matter how much you try to pound that into them, you pound hard enough, they're going to go the exact opposite way. I guarantee it.
Well, not guaranteed, but possible. But that's the way it is. And ultimately, you're going to want to love them either way, whether they're gay, straight, all these different things that can come up that is uncontrollable in this world, no matter if your kid goes to jail, if your kid becomes a soldier, if your kid ends up having an abortion, you are going to love them either way. You're going to support them. And it is a difficult decision, no matter how you look at it. And based on a belief system, you can fully believe that it is wrong and it is murder, and you're open to do that. And that is, again, kind of like we talked about before the show. It's projection. It is you. Whatever topic is the most important to you. That is your personal human choice and right to have that choice. And again, Yo-Yo, you haven't talked much in a while. So if you have anything else to say, please say it. I don't want to leave you cut off with anything else to say.
So I made some notes on my Biden decision. My big thing is actually the border children. I know we've talked a lot about children. We've talked about wanting the best for your children. We've talked about children that haven't been raised with their parents, but we're allowing the things at the border to happen, children to be ripped apart from their parents. And that's not fake news. Like, it's happening. It's happening. It's a big thing. And there are still tons and tons of displaced children. And it's wrong and it's evil. That, in my opinion, that is evil. That is pure evil at its core. And you can't support your own children and then say that's okay for another child that's just trying to get a life. Yes, you can say, oh, well, they should do it legally. That's really hard. That's really, really hard. And you need money and you need connections and you need to speak English and you need lawyers. My sister does that for a living. It is hard. It is hard to get into this country. It is not easy. But if you can just imagine what you're going through, knowing the risk that your child could be torn from your arms, but it is still worth it to get to the slums of America where no one wants to even live here. No one wants to do any of that shit there, but it's better than anything they've ever seen. Like, that is a big deal. That's humane. That's humanizing these people. That is a big fucking deal. So that is, I'm very, very into the border control right there.
Can I ask you one question?
Yeah.
And continue after this. If Obama could run again, would you vote for him?
Absolutely, I would.
You do realize he separated people at the border. He separated children. He separated families. He did the exact same thing that you just said.
No, it wasn't like that. No, Trump brought that into it. Really? That law started with Obama. It happened.
Yes. Who built the cages, man?
That's it, and that's not just a talking line. That was literally how it was handled at the border. Donald Trump has deported half the amount of illegal immigrants as Obama did. So I love and I believe the same thing. And I'm glad his wife stepped in and they said, let's end this 3-week thing. But that actually was something that Obama did. They both did it. It's been done by America for a long time because that's how they stopped.
Michelle stepped in and pulled that. And I'm glad that's something that has been brought to the front headlines, because honestly, I didn't know about it before. I do appreciate Biden wearing a mask, because I think Trump is an idiot for not wearing a mask, because it's simple science that germs spread less when you wear a mask. It's so simple. It is so simple. Like, we could maybe even get back to normal life if we would just wear masks. Like, let's see. I do like the idea of having a Black vice president or a multiracial president. I said multiracial.
Multiracial is better. Yeah, she's really not Black.
And female.
She's dark skinned.
Honestly, I'll put down.
Tony, you childish. You childish, and you need to grow up.
I mean, people mock me. I let you guys speak. I let you do your thing. I was respectful. Because we're talking about evil and nice and liberals being so horrible and not listening. So let's revert back to that.
Go ahead, Yo-Yo.
To be perfectly honest, as a Muslim, Egyptian American, all I've felt since Trump has come into office is the empowerment of racism, the empowerment of these people, especially in North Carolina. These people that think, like, especially since 9/11, I realized that was way before Trump. They have come out of the woodworks in these past 4 years, and they feel empowered to call me a sand nigger. They feel empowered to tell me to go back to my own country. They feel empowered to tell me, hey, I want someone to help me with this house that I'm an interior designer, by the way, that is from this country. People talk to me on purpose louder, assuming I can't speak English. And it has 100% been worse in the last 4 years. And that is not fake news. That is my personal experience. And it's disgusting. And these ignorant, and this, like, I know it's not all Republicans. I know it's not all conservatives. But these ignorant people keep popping up saying, oh, yes, Trump says it's okay. And they think it's okay because he will not say white supremacy is bad. He thinks it's a joke to mock Obama's middle name. Like, that's not a joke. Like, okay, that's so rude. Guys, go ahead. Do you have something to add or smirk about?
No, I'm just commenting on the side because somebody was saying to give you your time and to respect what you're saying, don't negative comment. And I was just agreeing with Claudia to give you your piece to speak. And I think when you thought we were laughing at you, I made a joke that made fun of myself. That wasn't about you. When Corey was making a joke, we were laughing at me. So you're totally good. So please continue.
I feel very strongly that people have been empowered the last 4 years to talk to me like that and talk to others like that and empower evil things. If we want to get down to evil, people just doing that stuff, that's evil. That's evil, and they have been pushed to do it, and they are convinced that it's okay to do it. And Trump kind of like supporting the whole Saudi Arabian government and the whole Hussein thing, it's appalling. Like, what do you think that says? Yes, that is his middle name. but he's mocking him. He's saying he's not an American citizen. He's saying you can see a brown person with that name. Oh, yeah, you don't belong here. The country built on immigration, built on religious freedom, that is not okay. And he is making it okay. And I hate it. Done.
And that's valid. And I want to say something to that point is, again, my biggest thing when people say, you don't understand, you can't walk in my shoes. If I'm in a disagreement with somebody that is African American, that is a big Black Lives Matter supporter, and I try to be empathetic and I try to say why I feel a certain way at the same time, there's a lot of Black people that I know that have seen and been through stuff that, much like what you're talking about, I can't speak on somebody else's personal experiences. If that is your personal experience, there's a reason to feel that way, and to discredit that and say that's bullshit, that's not the way it is in the rest of the country, that's not fair, because that's actually what you have faced on a daily basis. And why that's become empowered in this day and age, I don't know. And I don't even know if it's a Trump or conservative thing. I think this has been a plethora of years of degradation of our culture and soil and fabric as Americans and humans across the board. And honestly, going back to something we talked about earlier, that philosophy of empowering things like Cardi B, even though it's freedom of speech, I think freedom of speech is dangerous in a lot of ways. Facebook's some used to be freedom of speech could be deemed dangerous. Now it's being deemed dangerous because now they're censoring by choice. So it's dangerous no matter how you look at it. For example, my mom could not open this show. We couldn't open Cash's show last night. The link isn't working. We've lost half of our live viewers since I did a live post at a Trump rally. Over half has been cut, just shattered down, because people can't even open the window. So we've gone from free speech being dangerous to now chosen censorship, to now what you're saying, to censor somebody's beliefs like you, Yo-Yo, that have these daily occurrences in what has maybe become a racially insensitive area. I can't discount that. I can't say that that's not happening to you, and that's unfortunate. So, and again, I'm not disrespecting you. There was a couple comments when I interrupted. I tried saying that something was fake, and then the other thing really was just a joke regarding that. So,
I can't concentrate on the comments.
There's a lot going on, and somebody said, "Don't be so sensitive." Yo-Yo is alone here. Whether we disagree or agree with her, she has been alone on this show, and she has stood up to a lot of the banter back and forth. So, props for that.
If I see something, I will call it out.
You're not sensitive. You're just going to be an asshole. All right, Soonie, go for it, and then Corey.
I don't know. I have never experienced any type of racism until I came out as a conservative. The second I came out as a conservative, I had a floodgate of white people telling me my ancestors would be ashamed of me, calling me stupid. I also get it from, the Black side as well. But I've never experienced racism until this. So I'm not going to take away from your experiences because you've had them. They're yours. But I lived in NC my entire life. I grew up there. Never had any type of racial thing go on. I played a lot of sports. A lot of my friends were white. Half of my family is white. So I just don't really see it when people bring it up and they say, well, I've had this happen to me. I feel like people are confusing what racism is with what prejudice and just ignorant, disrespectful things are. Racism literally means to suppress and build another group up. You feel like you're superior, the other person's suppressed, we're going to block you down. And I don't see that happening to anybody in America. I see Black people flourishing. I see immigrants that come here to work flourishing. You see it. I know we live in a very sensitive age where you say one thing, and I've seen it with white people, and I feel bad for them. They ask a Black person a question, you're racist. I get called a racist for wearing a Trump hat. How insane is that? That word has completely lost its meaning. And people don't know what true racism is. I think if we go back to the 1900s and you experienced what those African immigrants experienced when they came here, then we could talk about experiencing racism. But I think it's a matter of a lot of people are prejudiced and a lot of people are ignorant. And we can't get rid of that. That's just how people feel, unfortunately. Here we go.
Can I play it, Soonie?
Go ahead, please.
Said during the show, and this is kind of what it's saying. So, Soonie, you're voting for Donald Trump. So this would be really weird coming from a group of white people.
Please stand for the playing of our national anthem.
Donald Trump is a white supremacist. Full stop. If you vote for him again, you're a white supremacist. Full stop.
Soonie, did you know that you are a white supremacist?
I get told that I'm not black, bro. People are like, you are not black. Yes, you are a white supremacist. And this is the day and age we live in. It's embarrassing. I hate talking about these subjects because people just, I don't want to say stupid, but what else do we call it? When you see an idiot do that video and you tell somebody, if you vote for Donald Trump, you're a white supremacist. When you have Chelsea Handler get on live TV and tell the world, I had to remind 50 Cent he was black. Who are you?
And then 50 Cent then he switched. He goes, you know what? I'm right. You know, you're right, girl. You're right. That's Trump.
It's disrespectful across the board. Right. In fact, I think that is an extremely racist thing to say. You're black. You need to vote Democrat. Screw you.
Yeah. All right, Corey, go ahead, wrap yours up, and then I'm going to finish up, and we will get out of here.
Russo, you're so unfair. You made me go last, and now I got too much I want to say, so I'm gonna try to minimize it, right? So, I'm extremely apologetic. I really do apologize or feel bad that people feel comfortable saying things to you out of the way or whatever because of your nationality, the color of your skin, or whatever it may be. And I know how that feels because I'm a black man. And it's happened to me on multiple occasions. And to some degree, we've kind of become numb to it. Like it just don't matter no more because it's been happening so much. I don't credit it to racism all the time, but there's other factors. But that's a whole other conversation. But what I do want to do is I want to make the point that you said that I think you use that as a reason for why you're voting for Joe Biden, and you attacked it by being Trump's fault. That is not Trump's fault. Trump has never told anybody to speak that way to anybody. You know what I'm saying? Like none of these things that you mentioned are of fault of Trump. Like Trump do not promote these things. He's against these things. He's openly said it on multiple occasions. So I don't know how that goes to Trump. So, and as far as like the separating kids at the border. So this is my response to people that talk about that. I always say, do you love black kids? Do you love white kids? And just like you love Hispanic kids at the border. Okay. So if you do, so understand that kids are being separated from their parents every single day in the United States of America. American kids, American families are being separated from their kids every day. If you don't believe me, go down to the courthouse and just watch. It happens every single day. And it happens because they broke the law. We have laws in this country, and we should have laws in this country, because if we don't, things will get out of control. We have to control our borders. And it's not that hard to get into this country the correct way. Nobody can tell me that, because my wife came here from Colombia. It was not hard. You do the paperwork, you pay the fees, she come. That's really it. You know. Yeah, it's called money. And if you can't afford to pay the fees to get them over here, then you shouldn't be bringing people over here that you can't afford to take care of, because we have a country to protect. It's almost the same. And I know it's speaking on a much larger and a much smaller scale. That's the same thing as saying when you say that we should just let anybody just flood into this country. Well, then why don't you go over there and find some homeless people and let them move into your house?
I never said that. And that is not the same.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying? Like all this stuff that you're saying is not Trump's fault. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not trying to be disrespectful.
It was Trump's fault. I said he felt it empowers people. The things he will not talk against and the things he makes fun of empowers the ignorant.
I'm going to really quick just make a statement. The comments that the media puts out in 30-second spurts may seem that way, but Trump talks for hours and hours and hours all the time. So clearly, if you're going to pull if you pull segments, it's going to be spun in a way that will create the division. That is not a Trump issue. That is a strictly 80% mainstream media issue. There's things that there's clips of Biden telling union workers that they're nothing, they're terrible. Like, you don't know what you're talking about. You're an idiot. That's not good either. We've only seen it played on a couple different sites. There's a lot of negative things.
But I didn't get it.
Yes,
Whoa.
he's announced it several different times.
I didn't get to finish again.
Sorry, but yeah, I'm going to answer the question blatantly. Yes, he's denounced white supremacy
multiple times, over and
over and over. Corey, go ahead.
All right, so yeah, he did denounce it multiple times, but then I want to speak about the abortion thing. And Soonie know this. When I disagree, I disagree. I totally disagree. A woman should not have the right to kill a baby because that's murder. That's just like if I pull out a gun right now and go outside and kill somebody, boom, I'm going to jail for murder. So should the mother for killing the baby. And I'd also feel that even if even if abortion is legal, the man should have a strong say so in that, because how do you not feel that you should have a choice in allowing somebody to kill your baby? It's murder. It's murder. And you should go to prison for murder, period. So that should not be a choice. I strongly disagree with that. You know what I'm saying? It's just murder, man. And murder is a crime. Punishable, up to life, and I feel that we should be held accountable for these things. That's it.
Gotcha. Any other?
I want to show her this clip because I don't think she actually believes Trump said it. I'm gonna send you this.
Do you want to? Can you throw it up on your screen? I think that some of the interesting things with not knowing much about Hunter and not knowing about Trump's over and over denouncing white supremacy, it does show that there is a information gap if your network believes one side and maybe you don't watch a lot of the stuff going out there, which is again a lot of the reasons why I have this show, why we're able to have multiple kinds of people having this conversation. But Soonie, if you want to, do you want to share your screen or do you want me?
Sure, I'll share it because I have it pulled up.
While she's pulling it up, the last thing that I'm going to talk about when we end this is I'm going to finish when we're going to show the white supremacy thing. The thing people forget about the beginning of Trump's presidency with the kids in the cages, the separating at the border, is Obama did deport the most illegal immigrants in the history of the United States of all presidents combined, not just than any other president. So look at the economy. The economy was doing well at the end of Obama's term and then kept getting better with Trump. People are going to want to come back over the border. So he was having a crisis at the border of how many people were illegally trying to cross. You can't even funnel that many people. You can't even organize that many people. So what do? He put in the whole thing of adding the next level of child separation, which took it to the next level. It didn't work. He was trying to do that as a scare tactic to stop people at the border. Why? Because we're having tens of thousands of people that were deported during Obama's 8 years that now we're trying to come back over. It was a humanitarian crisis at the border, and we didn't see. Sorry, some people saw that if you were really, really looking at what was truly, truly going on there. And that's all I'm going to say. The whole thing at the border, I don't agree with separating kids, but as Corey just said, it happens when you break the law. And as of right now in this country, and it has been forever, being an illegal immigrant crossing the border is breaking the law.
Period.
Soonie, you got it up there. Did you make sure the sound is played as well?
Yeah.
Okay, you're a pro. Gotcha. All right, we're going to play this clip.
Racism is evil. And those who cause violence in its name are criminals and thugs, including the KKK, neo-Nazis, white supremacists, and other hate groups that are repugnant to everything we hold dear as Americans.
Sorry.
Why did it become a thing? Why didn't he just say it in the debate?
He said it years before. He said it years before the debate.
What's even funny?
Say it in the debate
if you listen to it over again and you look at the transcript, he did say it, but he didn't say it perfectly because Chris Wallace has interviewed him specifically and asked that same question 2 years ago. So Trump made, to me, and I agree, I think he made an error. I wish he would have just been like, I will denounce whatever white supremacy you want. I would be like, why not?
But Tony, can I say something about that?
Yeah.
Real quick. So one thing that we have to remember is we don't know why he didn't say it. And a lot of times, and this is just me keeping it real. A lot of times, and I've experienced this myself, I've done things and people on the outside would be like, that was so stupid. Why would you do that like that? Why didn't you do that? Why do that? And unless you understand why, then we can't deem it, stupid or not, because we don't know why. Now, why he didn't, I got a couple different, scenarios of why, but at the end of the day, I don't know why. But what I do know is that he's denounced it multiple times before, and that's what matters.
And he said sure when he was asked.
Yeah.
Do you
And he did
denounce
say sure,
white
yeah.
supremacy?
Sure.
He said sure.
And then
He said, give me a name.
And then he was trying
Biden,
to add another stuff in on it.
Right. And then Biden, in his infinite wisdom, brought up the one group that isn't even actually truly a white supremacist group. He brought up the Proud Boys, which could be considered a little extreme, but they have a lot of Black and Latino members. So it just showed the lack of knowledge of the hate groups, which I don't think they're a hate group in this country. There were some Proud Boys at the event, at the rally, and they were all being very peaceful and loving. Like, it's interesting. So, Corey, do you have anything else before I wrap it up?
One more thing real quick. And it's so surprising. It's so surprising. One more thing. It's so surprising that people on the left don't know he said that. Now, and no offense to you, Yo-Yo, I'm just saying that just proves that people's mind are made up and that they want to go against him because they're not looking into anything. Because if you even minutely look into it a little bit, it's clear the evidence is all over the place that he said that multiple times. So it's just kind of odd to me that people on the left don't know he said that.
And honestly, would he have as many Black supporters as he has if he was a racist? Do you think I would support Donald Trump if he was a white supremacist supporting president?
He was on a stage. You handed him a crown saying, "Hey, I'm not racist," and he shat on it. Like,
but he was also on the stage when he said it. When he said he denounced it,
he said it on
anything. Like.
Cash.
But do you think I would vote for that? Do you think Black people would consciously vote for a president that is racist? Especially Black conservatives. I don't know if you know a few, but we talk against how racist Joe Biden is.
Cash. Cash has played a 5-minute video of all the clips of how many times he said it over and over. There's a meritage of clips that have gone on from all the way back in 2010 before he was in office to all the way to 2020 of multiple times.
Are you aware of the racist statements that Joe Biden said?
Oh yeah, in the 70s, yes, that did.
No, recently.
No.
What is it? Which one?
The reason I was able to stay in my house was because some Black woman decided. Some Black woman was stocking the shelves of the grocery store.
If you don't vote for me, you ain't Black.
Or I believe the Republicans
are
going to put you back. They're going to put you back in chains.
Are you a crackhead?
Why do you think Trump keeps emphasizing Barack Hussein Obama? Why does he keep saying that?
Because he don't like him. Because he don't like him.
Well, why is he emphasizing Hussein?
Because he don't like him.
And that's marketing.
Really? Because it's his name. That's why he's saying Barack.
Because hold on. I can ask you a question. Hold on. I'm gonna give you a direct answer. Because I believe that he emphasized saying Hussein because he's trying to point out the fact that he don't believe that he's an American. That's what he's trying to say.
Yeah, exactly. He keeps saying he's not born in America.
Right. So if that's what he believes, what's wrong with him saying that?
What I just said about empowering non-true things, empowering idiots. And
I know, but the question is, if that's what he believes, what's wrong with him saying that?
Because it's not true.
How do you know?
Because he was the president of the United States.
That don't mean it's not true.
But he's not emphasizing anything but the Hussein.
That's how he feel. That's how he feel. That's how he feel. Listen. Can I ask you one more question? I know Tony ready to go, but I want to ask you one more question. If I don't see your face or see a picture of you and I see Yosra Hussein E. Slade, would it be safe to me to assume that you're Muslim?
I put that in quotes.
I'm asking you a question though. Would that be safe for me to assume that?
Yes.
Okay then. So that's okay. So that answers the question.
That doesn't make it okay.
Listen. All I'm saying is that's how he feel. That's what he think. Okay.
So you don't feel like anything that we just told you Biden has said about Black people?
I heard
We're forgetting about the biggest thing.
It's all terrible.
So why are you voting for him then if you know it's terrible when he said these things?
They both.
I know, but
I'm going for the side that I think is better.
Right. Exactly. But what
But
we
they're
saying is
both
you said that you were aware of these racist things that Joe Biden said about black people, but you don't find nothing wrong with that. That's okay. I'm still voting for him. But these things that Trump said is not proven because nobody's came up with evidence.
So the Husseini, he emphasized a little bit when he says it. I'm not a huge fan of the burger thing, but I don't really care.
Emphasizing for a reason that you're completely skimming over.
I think he's emphasizing for the reason that he just thinks that he does not like Obama, any of Obama's policies. Obama has not treated him well after there was never a true exchange of power, period. There was for about 3 weeks, and then Obama has been on the tail end with Biden, with other people trying to hammer Trump out of office since the beginning. Guess what? He's been Obama.
Do the things that Joe Biden said. Do the things that Joe Biden said about black people bother you?
Muslim people, neither are right. Neither are right. You can't be okay with one and not the other.
Right.
They're
So
both
do the things that Joe Biden said about black people bother you?
Yes.
All right.
But the things that Trump has said bother me more.
Like what?
I just said it.
The Hussein thing bothers her. She said, I mean, it is because that's a personal. Remember, she is Muslim. That is a personal attack on her. So that's why that bothers her, and that's not her. She's not projecting her beliefs, and that's the great thing about Yo-Yo. She's not telling us, well, you can't agree. If you don't agree with me, you're bad or you're wrong. She's just this is her personal. However, you were not fully. It's interesting that you did not fully have the information that was very basic about his condemning white supremacy. I think that's odd. And then the fact that your reference of Biden is from 1970s when there is the crime bill in the 90s, and then he stood by the crime bill in a 2016 interview. This isn't that long ago. And then the black comments were "you ain't black if," and the black woman working in the supermarket, that was a month ago.
And black people are not diverse in thought. This man is blatantly racist.
But Russo, can I please say that you said that when he used the word Hussein against Obama, that was a personal attack against her. It's not. That was a personal attack against Barack Obama. The things that Joe Biden said was personal attacks against black people. Period.
That is a valid point.
Pulling out Hussein is not born in
middle name.
It's a personal attack against Barack Obama. The things that he said about black people were was an attack against black people in general.
That is an attack against Muslims.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Obama.
That's his middle name.
Is Obama Muslim? Obama's not even Muslim.
That's true. Obama's supposedly Christian.
I said that.
So is he a Muslim?
You can't empathize with my point at all, in the slightest bit. You can't even.
Honestly, I'm just going to be 100% honest. He's talking about Obama, and I really don't have anything nice to say about Obama, given all the crap he did while he was in office. So I don't feel any sympathy for Obama. But if Trump made a statement and he said something about the Muslim community and it was ignorant, I would have something to say. But he talked about Obama, so no.
And I don't think Obama's been kind to him. I don't think, and he's not considered Muslim, so that's not an attack on Muslim people. If he was like Obama, that piece of shit, scummy Hussein Muslim, that's a different story. Then we talk.
Empowering undertones. What makes things okay?
So is Biden empowering people to talk bad about black people?
What?
Absolutely.
Is Biden empowering people to talk bad and treat black people bad?
Yes.
And you don't have a problem with that?
Yes, I do.
So why would you vote for him?
That's the same thing. You have to hold each other accountable for both.
All right. I get you. We're going in circles. But I do think that there is some interesting information. And I see this daily. And it's like, in the fact that Yosra's here to listen and go, I've never seen all those other clips, which to me is mind-boggling, which shows us that social dilemma concept. If you've seen that movie, if that doesn't pinpoint it, that Yo-Yo, who is an educated woman, has not seen both sides of the coin on this. And again, all of us still talk about the fact that we don't see a lot of the mean stuff on the right. I have a pretty 50-50 split liberal and conservative Facebook. So I see a lot, but I know a lot of people are in echo chambers. And I think it's fascinating to see that we have just been sheltered from a lot of the information. It's just fascinating to me. So Thank you, Soonie, for being here. Yo-Yo, I saw you drop the wine. You started drinking the water. You got ready to go. You started hitting it, and I
got a poem. Just let me read this poem. That'll be it. That'll be it. All right. So this is about the Holocaust. First, they came for the socialists, and I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. Then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak for me. That speaks to my heart, and that speaks to my soul, and that speaks to everything I have seen in this campaign.
From both sides.
I mean, yes, from both sides. I am capable of seeing both sides. Not really when I'm being mocked or laughed at. I think I'm a pretty intelligent person and capable of understanding and having a conversation. I'm not angry. I'm extremely passionate. And if it came down to it and your rights were in jeopardy, if you were on the line right now, I would fight for all of you, and I would fight for each one of you. I'm not saying either candidate is perfect. I'm not saying either one is a great human being. I'm not saying one is evil and one is good. We're handed a shit sandwich, and we have to choose which side we like more, and I have chosen mine. And I think we can argue till we're blue in the face, but there are points on both sides, and the sooner we all see that, the better off we'll be.
Thanks, yo. All right, so I'm going to wrap it up real quick, guys. First off, I in 2016, I probably could not agree with that statement more, that there was a big shit sandwich. I did vote for Trump, and I didn't know if it was the right decision. To this day, I stand by that decision more and more every day, and I've started to realize, to me, I don't believe I'm in a shit sandwich. I truly believe that at this point there is a obvious choice that I've made, and I appreciate my choice, and I appreciate people in America's freedom to choose. And that is the great part about living in this country. With that said, I don't know if anybody out there is a watcher of the show. This Is Us. This Is Us has got to be the best written show in terms of network television ever, because they sometimes touch on things that I typically would get angry at. And if anybody watched the first episode in this season that just came on Tuesday night, they dealt with George Floyd. They dealt with the masks. They dealt with a lot of different things that we're going through as a country. And I wanted to be mad at certain things. And one of the characters from the show that was adopted, Black father of 2 kids, 3 kids, I believe, wealthy, he's successful, etc. But the way that he explained George Floyd was fascinating to me. And I wanted to be angry at first, to go, here we go. NBC's doing another, trying to tug at the racial heartstrings bullshit. But there is an explanation of it that goes beyond and above what we're seeing from a point of protests and riots, and more the riot side. It's more the protest side and the angry frustration, and whether we believe that's media-based or not. The way he explained his character in that moment was exhausted. His name is Randall. And he looked at and watching the 8 minutes and 46 seconds, no matter what we feel about it now, after body cams take away that. But the fact that that has been put in front of us as Americans, and it is the choice to show these moments, like in Philadelphia, we see it too often without full context, without full story. And that time we saw 8 minutes and 46 seconds. And to realize that I cannot step in anybody else's shoes, whether they're a Black person that's conservative or liberal. It doesn't matter. It is a different state of mind that we do not see. We don't see the footage of a white guy getting killed, even though it happens. We don't see it on a daily basis. We don't see it celebrated by the media, because that's what I call it. The media celebrates that because they know it gets views and creates news. And his character explained it as being exhausted. And I have not truly understood, except for the few days following that and the frustration that came after of all the riots and whatever. The best way to describe it was that level of exhaustion. And I truly appreciated that. So if you guys haven't watched the beginning of the season, This Is Us, I would. Aside from that, again, I claim to be a good person, and that was a huge issue when I was reading through that on those comments. And again, going to the Trump campaign rally was honestly one of the greatest moments I've had in several months, especially during COVID, was seeing people that truly were there to care about each other, no matter race, creed, and their politics. Their political conversations were not about why Biden sucks. It wasn't why the other side sucks. it was why we live in such a great country. And I do think through the flaws, we do live in a great country. We've made mistakes along the way, and we will continue to make those, just like being a parent, just like being a friend, just like being in a relationship, a husband, a wife. You're going to make mistakes, but the ultimate goal is progress, not perfection. And we as a country have progressed so far. And right now I feel as though we're regressing based on the behavior of I'm good and you're bad. With that said, thank you guys for joining us on Truth Will Set You Free. We're going to be doing some pop-up ones as the election gets closer, maybe some late nights. We'll see who can join us. As I said, yes, Conservengers, we went an extra hour longer than I planned on tonight because this was a great conversation. Yo, sorry if you ever felt attacked. You guys killed it. Thanks, Soonie, Corey, thank you for being on, and we'll catch you guys next week. Please remember to share this out there. As Cash has said, we're being shadow banned pretty bad. So go ahead and keep sharing this. Help us out. Share it to all your friends, liberal, conservative. I'm always down to have a conversation with both sides. Again, thank you for watching. Like, share, subscribe, smile faces, etc. You can do a laughing face. I don't care. Take it easy.